Que paso, guys? Got a really cool double review for you today. So, really awesome member of the group saw me posting in a few of the other groups and in ours. I was looking for a Rubicon, Spyderco Rubicon. I wasn't aware of the magnitude at the time. Rubicon magnitude. So he told me that he had a magnitude and a Rubicon he was willing to sell me. Once he showed me pictures of it, I went back and watched a few YouTube videos on it and got familiar with it. And I thought, wow, it was kind of an either or deal, and I could not decide. And I asked him if I could possibly buy both of them. And he said yes, and I knew that I would, sell the other one or whatever. So when I got them today, man, was that a tough decision, because financially, and the way my knife collection is right now, I can't add two knives of this value. Just not room in it right now. We're buying a house and all that stuff, so I have to be extremely conservative. So I opened up the Rubicon, and holy cow, the fit and finish is insane. I love that orange on that shiny black G10, thick titanium liner lock. The back spacer is cool as hell. I mean, I fell in love with it instantly. And then I opened the Rubicon, or not the Rubicon, the Magnitude. And look at that blade shape. I mean, the blade shape won me instantly. It's bigger. I'm a big guy. This knife is quite a bit bigger than the Rubicon. So I'm like, well, this one looks better. This one fits me better and still looks amazing. It doesn't have the orange in it, but it still looks cool. The carbon fiber is not as shiny, but the blade stock is thicker. That's a big one with me. The handle's bigger. I love the blade a lot more than I like this blade. I love this blade. What ended up happening is the Magnitude essentially won. So I'm getting rid of the Rubicon. I'm gonna put it in the waffle group. And man, that's a tough decision. And I hate to let a beautiful knife like that go. If we weren't buying a house, it wouldn't be going anywhere. But responsibilities and all that such. But both of these are amazing knives. These are both from the Tai Chung factory. These are, to me, at the height of what Spyderco can do. When I was collecting, let's say a couple of years ago, I would see people post in the groups. And back then, I think I was mainly collecting Benchmade. That's where I was at in my collecting. Working my way up to get an Anthem, people would put a poll in there, which one's better, Spyderco or Benchmade? And of course I was like, man, Benchmade's a better company. They're bigger and they got cooler knives. Well, the thing was, I never saw these knives. In the groups that I was in, Benchmade group and a few other ones, I rarely ever saw knives of this caliber. And one of the reasons Spyderco doesn't sell many of these knives and they end up getting discontinued is because a lot of people don't even know they exist. They're not in stores. I mean, you don't go into let's say I went into a gun shop earlier today. They had a nice selection of Spydercos. They had one nice Spyderco, one. And of course, we all know the Spyderco has tons of high-end knives, but the rest of their knives were, PM2s, chaparrals, things like that. They didn't have the, like K2. They didn't have the, Sleek's Bowie type knives, the Techno 2. Mainly, everyday work knives is what they all carry. So a lot of us guys never seen these until I got in these certain groups, and our group grew to a point where I started seeing these, and man, I fell in love with them. I've just been chasing them ever since. They're great knives for a good price. I don't say great price, but a good price. To me, these are absolutely mid-tech level knives. They're both running on bearings. and beautiful titanium liners. The actions on them are unbelievable. I mean, these flippers are just effortless. I'm not really a flipper guy, but I mean, you can use this knife just the same. I mean, just with a thumb stud. You don't even have to worry about it being a flipper. And the flipper tab on them is so small, it's not intrusive. So if you're not having to pay a penalty for it being a flipper. If this knife were a little bit larger, I think it would have won. And if it had that blade shape on there and was larger, absolutely. I really wish this G10 was polished like that. They kind of made this to be more stealth, tactical, everyday use. It was a little bit cheaper than the original Rubicon. Let's do some size comparisons. So this is the, scoot these over a little bit. This is the Capara, Spyderco Capara. This is the, here's another big Spyderco knife that's discontinued. Spyderco K2. Let's look at another one here. Spyderco Sleesh Bowie. I know that's not a great comparison because a lot of people don't have those, but it's a good size comparison. It's about the same size without all the girth. Strider 0.75 AR. And one more. Techno 2. The size of the actual sizes and all the specs are online. This is full carbon fiber with titanium liners, both S30V, great steel. Still goes back to that same argument, great steel, but it could be S90V or any of the little bit higher end steels. But for all intents and purposes, S30V is a great steel. I mean, you can get a little bit better with M390 or something like that, but most people are not going to notice the difference, to be honest with you. So, at the end of the day, the Magnitude 1. And it's going to stay in my collection. Like I said, I would love to keep both, but it's just not financially possible at this point. One thing I wanted to share with you, and I know you've probably seen this in lots of other reviewers' videos, because that's where I got it from. Who is it? Uses this all the time. This is the Weeha Bit Selector, Metal Complex. This is the Weeha Bit Selector. And I recently broke a screw. Let me grab something real quick. Pardon me, wanted to show you this as well. Give me 2 seconds. I did a video on the driver that I just bought, I think yesterday, but the driver is important because I had a very large driver and I was taking apart my Medford, or actually I was putting it back together, and I had too large of a driver and I overdrove it and I snapped the screw. I'm usually pretty mindful about that, but if you know Medfords, that is a huge penalty for me. That's going to be very tough to get that screw. They're not going to provide it. These bits fit the screws much better. They're much stronger. I have the other kit that I think everybody has from Amazon that has the 2 different size drivers and tons of bits, and it's pretty good. The bits are average. These bits are exceptional. These bits really grab the screws and really give you a bite on them. Plus, it keeps them super organized. And one thing I just realized, okay, grab another one. You can actually use this as a bit driver. Did not know that. That's something new to me. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Put it in there, and then I have this smaller bit driver where I have a lot better control over these screws, especially titanium. You will snap the head off those things, and the manufacturers are not real big on selling you a screw or giving you a screw, and if you're like me and your knife's modified, you're screwed because they won't let you send it in either because they won't touch a knife that's been modified. So I'm on the hunt now through different aftermarket people trying to find out what thread my screw is and what size it is and trying to match it. It's a big pain in the ass. So buy the right tools to work on your knives. Buy the right bits to work on your knives. It will save you a lot of headache. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys always watching my junk and listen to me ramble. Y'all have a great day. Good night.